Dummy Switch Pod, the boys are back.
Yes,
How's it,
sir.
Chris?
Yes, sir. Oh, Kodas, I'm good. I'm good. Bok week.
Yeah,
So yeah, excited. How you doing, man?
I'm good myself, good myself. The Dan
Mm,
Carters of podcasting here
yeah.
to give you our
Yes,
opinions on
sir.
flagrant takes. And of course, feel free
Mm,
to share your opinions, especially it's Bok week. And you know, those opinions tend to fly
mm.
around Bok week. You've got things to discuss on the agenda today, opinions around the world class facility that's Ellis Park, opinions around ticketing prices. Those two have become
Yeah.
convoluted. You know,
Yeah. Hey.
we can't see the forest through the trees. We can't, what is the real problem? Is it Ellis Park or is it ticketing prices? Although we know it's ticketing prices.
It's ticketing
Um,
prices.
then we've
Let's not
got,
lie to ourselves.
yeah, it is. I mean, we'll dig a bit deeper in that, but I think the main news is really team selection, and that
Mm,
the team obviously came out on a Monday, and we can discuss that, and then a bit of in and out in terms of the wider squad. So I think we'll start there. Versus
mm.
England at Ellis Park, we've got 50 up for Willemse, and we've got 50 up for Colby, fitting that the two
Yeah.
Stormers or recent Stormers, former Stormers together again. Uh, you know,
Thomas took
they,
care.
they make their 50th. Yeah, you've got Willemse 15, Colby 14, Jesse Creel 13, 12, Damian Willemse, 11, Arends, and then
Yeah.
10, we've got
Hey,
Lubok.
wait. Dude, top David and the Kodas.
Who did I say?
You said Willems, hey, you've
Oh,
got him
Willemse
playing.
twice.
Hey,
Hey,
he's that
twice.
good. He's that good. He's
That
15 or
Chris
12.
is used to play
15
15
or
and
12.
15 or 12. Sometimes, sometimes my mistake, my mistake.
Yeah, no. It's okay. 15 or and 12 because I mean that's why he's got 50
And
caps,
he's
you know? That's
he's
why he's got
also a former Stormer in it together. So
yeah, so it's the
yeah, yeah,
it's that
dear.
Thomas gang. It's that Thomas
So
gang, you know?
excuse me there, Dialendi at 12, Arendse, who there have been calls about Arendse's form, he's at 11, and then you've got Lobok who sat out the recent Bok versus
Yeah.
Barbarians and the A team. But I mean, we knew that he was going to be involved. I mean, if they sat him, we knew he was going to be involved some way or the
Mm,
other.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and then we've got Grant Williams taking up nine. The pack, it's Ox, Marks, Dutoy, Etzebeth, Nokia, Kolisi captain, Peter Steff, and then Jasper Visser continues at eight. On the bench, got Vessels. Interesting that he's the hooker replacement. Stennerkamp, Porthen, Van Staden.
Mm,
Funny because he could also be a hooker replacement. And then you've got Hanekom on the bench. Um, Reinach, Esterhazen, and Moody. Yeah, I mean, interesting three backs on the bench, no fly half. Especially with Pollard being left out, and then Vusi
yeah.
Moyo in and around. It's just I think part of the conversation there. Um, Decent squad. I mean, I didn't see too many complaints or too many disgruntled fans, which, like we said, is normally the case where it's like, why didn't this guy sit? I'd say the only thing for me is that the bench is a bit,
Yeah.
you don't know
Uh,
in which direction they're gonna take it, having two centers on the bench. But I mean, that one center in Esterhazen can also be another flank.
Is also another flanker. And then Van Staden also hooker. Jan
Yeah.
Hendrik Vessels, hooker prop. And I've heard in a press conference, Rassie talk about him having played lock at school. So
Yeah.
this is a madman. So he can spring surprises at us. So I think he's got versatility there, and also giving guys the opportunity to especially with this bench, like guys like Portland to keep on, trying to grow and develop, fill in the shoes.
They've shown a lot of
He looks,
faith in him.
yeah, he looks like he's been earmarked, to as one that can, carry it forward, and still sort of develop because there's still those guys, Volko and them that are still doing it. So Reinach, the experience, Estes and Moody, But then even just looking at the starting 15, I mean, this is a team that's, it's selected to go and win a test match, and the other thing is, what I like is, Libok is there, and it's on him. It's his time
Yeah.
now to showcase. He's been away, in Japan. We've seen, some D2 highlights, how he plays, behind the scenes and all of that. I think, yeah, it would be interesting to see how, he comes back into the fold and how he's going to control this game. But I think all around, even with him, let's say, you don't have cover at 10, or you do because Willemse can go in at 10. At a
Yeah.
stretch, you can even put Colby at 10 as well.
Estays and has been known to
You
feature at
know,
10 in the Prem at sometimes as well. So I mean, there'll always be somebody that can
yeah,
ultimately fill in that role. Like you said, Willemse, possibly Colby after
yeah.
that. So
The,
it
the
yeah.
the only thing for me is all you want to see is, I think we touched on it last week, is, being the first sort of big test of the season. You don't want a repeat situation of Australia last year at Ellis Park. You know,
Yes.
so I think that'll be the big focus, and how they start and how they assert the Bok game onto England, because England, obviously, they're going to come. A lot of their players, they'll be buzzing having won the Premiership. They'll want to, bring that intensity and try and, match the box physically, and also try and, catch us off guard, outsmart us.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting test, but I mean, if the box can impose their game, really, this is one way they should get this done, and especially looking at the team that they've selected.
For me, it goes back to what you said about the Australia game. That was my biggest concern in that game, it was a game where they highlighted it was one of those it's Mani's fault games. But if you look at
Mm,
the game plan he was given and the blueprints he was given, he did what the mandate was. But my thing was that at that time we were leaning too heavily on running the ball instead of
yeah,
playing, and we didn't get the balance right. Then the following week we overcorrected. You got polys in, and then there's no running. It's just a total other game plan. And then we
yeah,
go to New Zealand, and then we find the balance. And
mm,
I just hope they've learned, which I'm sure they will have learned from those lessons, to say
yeah,
that there needs to be a balance. It can't just
yeah,
be that bright start that we had against Australia, where we're running from the word go, and then things go sour, and then the other team claws their way back in. So that's my only concern, to say that,
mm,
we need to have that balance. And
yeah,
I guess playing the Barbarians is a test to see whether you're going to get pulled into that kind of game. So
mm,
which we did
mm,
pass on some fronts, and we did fail on some fronts. So
yeah,
I think that's my biggest concern. And then the other thing is just the bench, to say that, how are they gonna put these guys on?
yeah,
But
mm,
for
mm,
me, like I said, no, there's not much complaints that I've seen, or not much. It's kind of the best we have at the moment. Yeah,
and I think honestly, Kodas, is because everybody understands that this is, like I've been saying, this is a regiment, man. This is a
yeah,
regiment. It doesn't matter. You can pick anybody, because I think the public have been brought in, in that sense, to get a better understanding of the bigger picture. I think they've also been pretty open with the communication in how they look at players
yeah,
and their objectives. In terms of, look, they're looking to build on and looking at guys, at a bigger picture for the World Cup and things like that, and also beyond that as well. So I think it'd be a very, how can I say, a very, very spoiled brat type of behavior to even complain, or to have any issues with anybody that's being selected
yeah,
right now, because yeah, I think they've shown us, time and again, that there's a reason why they are in charge.
yeah,
And the guys have been delivering, so that's the other thing as well. So yeah, man. I just see, if Springboks control this, it's a result in the bag.
yeah. Just other things to note in terms of the wider squad. Riley Norton is out, and they've brought in Eric Lowe. I know they've said that Diaga
The
is a week
sheriff.
out. Mostert, I think, is also 1 or 2 weeks out. So they've
Yeah.
they've they've brought in
I think
Eric
Hooker
Lowe.
as well.
Yeah, yeah. But like I was saying, like Lowe, it was a bit of a surprise omission. I know he's coming back from
Yeah.
injury, and I mean, but he has looked like himself. It's not like a player that's come back and he looks, that he hasn't got there yet. But I mean, yeah, there's plenty of competition for places. I mean, even with Riley Norton, it was said for him, we had this discussion our last episode to say that is it fair that kind of these young guys are getting given, he hasn't played for the Stormers, he hasn't played a URC
Yeah.
game, but he's involved with the Boks. And Rassie came out and mentioned specifically JJ van der Merch to say that, okay, well, the reason why is because Ryan Norton's here, he's in our system,
Yeah.
the player profile, he's listed as a utility forward,
Mm.
in that same kind of mustard role, lock, flank. And he said JJ van der Merch is just a big bruising guy that, he's not going to be your jumper. So,
Yeah.
he's not the line out technician. So
Mm.
it's a mix between player profile and also you made that decision to go overseas. So ultimately,
Yeah.
you have to live and die with that decision. The only other thing that I like to say, particularly in a baby bulk week, is that sometimes you need to coddle the youth. You need I'm also coming to that realization because it's like I think sometimes we're too hard on the fact that like baby box or whatever. It's like you get into the system, you either make it or you don't. And that's just always
Yeah.
how it's been. So it's surprising to us to see that these guys are they're getting babied
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we could benefit from this. But I think it's just strange because we used to have the tough love approach of when you turn 18, you get kicked out the house.
No, but
And
I mean,
then and then you find guys that are you find baby boys playing club rugby at 22, 23.
mm, mm, yeah.
It's not something that is uncommon that or you find guys working at
Yeah.
wherever. So you know what I mean. So it's not something that's uncommon. So sometimes I think our mindsets also have to change to say that it's no longer maybe you do need to treat these players better, and it's a
Yeah.
conversation around player welfare to say that
Yeah.
you know we need to, and even myself, I've come to the realization that maybe what we were doing before wasn't right. We kick them out in the cold.
Yeah. I think I agree with you there, that, you know, definitely need to treat the players better, and for sure, I mean, times have changed, and there's got to be a different approach, a different approach to success, and I think looking at from the whole program as a whole, from the junior structures, because those are the structures that have to feed into the senior structures. So I think that's it only makes sense that the youth get looked after because those are the next guys that are coming through, and I think more and more you'll see that happen, because like we've seen, it's within reach, there's the gap has closed between making that next jump.
Yeah,
Yeah, and but I think, yes, looking at from a Springbok bigger picture, yes, it's a positive, but you also want to see more of that, even
which I guess is
at
why there's
club.
the under 23 URC
Mm.
mini
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess they are making strides in that way, and it's not just the one or two guys that get
Mm.
earmarked. And then I guess particularly from a Sharks point of view, we've seen guys go from there into the
Yeah,
team in the last few weeks. So yeah, I think that's something that I've taken from this is that maybe they are right. Maybe they are right.
yeah. I mean, look, it's so far, the results are coming. So far it's good. Everything is looking good. So you know you can only expand and develop on what's working, and to
Yeah,
keep the machine running, and at the end of the day, we want that dynasty, we want that domination, that extended run of just Springbok rugby being at the top. I think it's high time. It's about time that that's the status quo where it's no longer, I mean, it's no longer about New Zealand.
yeah,
South Africa's firmly planted the flag, to say, look, this is this is the standard, across the board. We're seeing it from the sevens, okay, mixed bag, but they still, are medaling, still winning cups. With the box women, you're seeing that as well. With the box seven, women sevens as well, you're seeing that, and the under 20s as well, the success, and then the Springboks men's. It's just that's what you want to see for the federation, So
Yeah.
hey, look, long may it continue, but that also has to translate into better pricing for tickets, because we
Yeah.
understand, yes, the brand grows and, there's more value in the brand, but without the people, you're shutting us out. You're shutting us out in this economy. You're shutting us out, So that's the other thing that now we now it's a
Yeah.
sort of the scales are tipping a bit, whereas at first, even though when things weren't that great, ticket prices, were good and things started getting better, ticket prices were still okay, but now it's just the scales are just tipping
Yeah.
the other direction, So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean that's our next conversation and kind of a big conversation for this week is the fact that I think they've said that Ellis Park is going to be the emptiest since what did they say 2008 in terms of a Bok game or something like that, and there's all kinds of reasons, people, the war in Iran, people, all sorts of things. For me, it's two things. It's the cost of living nowadays mixed with greed
mm,
of the federation to say that it's
yeah,
harder for people to buy tickets. People have less disposable income, and then you've got the ticket prices, which have always been high. Ticket, we
yeah,
must never fool ourselves and say that
yeah.
bulk tickets were
450
always
was a lot,
affordable.
eh? 450 was a lot. Just
And
450
that's
was good
behind the
middle
post, but
class.
at least you are saying like, no, I can watch behind the post. It's
I
it's
was
it's
there.
fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
At least and that was, I guess that was fair because it was a workaround to say
Mm,
that you know I don't have almost 2,000 for one ticket on the main
yeah,
grandstand. Because I mean, it
yeah,
was even prices were high that time. At least I can be behind the poles for a nice 450.
yeah.
So I mean, that's where the compromise was. Now you're looking at
Mhm,
tickets that those price points are no longer there,
mm.
and things are tougher.
Yeah,
So I mean, for me, like it's just the greed of SARU, and it's something that's been happening for a long time. The seasons before also there's always been this talk about pricing, and then you've got a new, coupled with, I don't think anyone else, I haven't seen anyone else say the fact that this is a new tournament. This
mm,
is
mm,
not an established idea, an established brand in terms of the
yeah,
tournament itself.
yeah,
This is an
yeah,
inaugural tournament. This is not something that we're used to. And then
yeah.
you wanna tax these people at a premium, knowing that a proven entity is coming in the All Blacks
Mm,
further down the line. So why would you spend your money here
exactly.
where you can spend your money there?
Yeah, because everybody knows. In reality, okay, let's put it this in perspective. Yeah, we'll be upset if we in the nations these three games, our team doesn't do well, but because we know there's a bigger picture. But the main thing that every single Springbok fan is concerned about is that greatest rivalry tour,
Yeah.
and that's where people are going to be spending their money. That's where even if the prices are going to be still exorbitant and really
Yeah, then
crazy, but people will still they'll still reach in their pockets for that. But
yeah.
these three games, no, yeah,
Yeah, that's
you're
the
right, Kodas. They didn't think this through, man. They really didn't.
and then I mean you've got other people saying that this is what happens when you kind of overuse a province or a venue to say that okay, if this was maybe somewhere else, but
Where,
I can't
where,
see in other
uh,
areas. Obviously there's going to be interest to see the Springboks play, but there's the same financial constraints are in those other areas as well to say that people also don't want to
they,
pay that much for tickets. Other
they, they,
other
they, they
areas,
took, they took a double header to Rugby Mad Gabech, where Springbok captain comes from, Hlegane comes from there. There's so many players that come from. The coach comes from the Eastern Cape, and that stadium wasn't full. That and we've seen before the days of even Southern Kings, a team that wasn't even doing that well. Stadium people loved the rugby over there, and
yeah.
that for me that was telling with the Barbarians game that there weren't bums on seats, and that's it's because of coin. It's
Mm.
because of coin. So come on, man. They really they're out of
And
touch. They're
then,
out of touch.
yeah, let's talk about out of touch because that's the other conversation to say that it's a problem with Ellis Park and that nobody wants to go to Ellis Park. That's
Ah,
for me, that's a
they
conversation
super.
of being out of touch in that you haven't, if anybody that said that, when have you been to Ellis Park in recent, and not, to be
Yes.
honest, not even in recent times, in the
Anytime.
past since, is that
Anytime.
you're not talking about CBD on a non-match day. You're talking about on a match day. There's secure parking.
Yeah.
Things
There's
run
police
very
everywhere.
functionally. It's very,
Yeah.
you can nowadays, even you take Ubers. He took Ubers to and from the
Yeah.
game. You can get in
Mm.
and out very fast, unlike, for example, DHL Stadium, where you'll be standing outside in a queue to try and get in and out for hours.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a world-class facility. It is the
Yeah,
world-class
man.
facility. It is the home of SA Rugby. And for me,
Yeah.
it's just, it's out of touch. People saying that all these kind of complaints about the area, about its rundown, about it's this, it's this, it's this. When was the last time you were there?
Yeah.
And we're talking about match days. We're talking about when
Yes.
provisions have been made for this. We're talking about when you can walk from the Caltrain station or you can use Metro Rail. We're talking,
Yeah.
you're talking about they've made provisions for all of these things. You've complained about these things. They've solved the problem, and then you want to
Yes.
still complain about a problem which
Ah,
they've
come on.
solved, which just shows
Come on.
how far out of touch you are. And if you look at a lot
Yeah.
of these accounts that are saying these things, it's people that have left South Africa.
Yeah. You
A lot of
see?
it is people that have left South Africa that don't even live, or people
Mm.
that don't even live in Joburg.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that being said, it's good they shut Newlands. If all you Cape Town, all you guys complaining about Ellis Park saying they must close Ellis Park, it's good they closed Newlands.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, man. Because, like, honestly, like, and quarters, you can't even add on further to what you said. Everything is spot on. There's provision for it. You know, you've seen drunkards there, the game, they're safe. There's nobody trying to do anything.
Yeah,
It's orderly, man. I mean, even by the railway, we're using Metro Rail. We walked
yeah,
down there. Come on, man. Like, seriously, people just need to get over this whole thing. And part of the issue is if you talk about the CBD being run down and whatnot, part of the issue is what South Africans are complaining about. You know, and that's being attended to. So slowly but surely, things will get better, and that
yeah.
and there won't be any. Look, I think it's really people need to just get over this whole thing of associating Ellis Park and with everything that's bad. That's rugby heritage right there.
It's rugby heritage, and if you scared, just say you scared.
Yeah,
You just,
get go to
but
church.
yeah, if you're scared, get a dog because there's no, you talk to the rugby fan base, people that have been there, there's been no complaints. There is provisions
Mm,
made for everything. Even, I mean, this is anecdotally us being there. I put my bag down. The guy
yeah,
selling popcorn is saying, "Hey, you left your bag. Just be careful. You don't want to leave your bag. Not that someone's gonna take it. It's just that it's things like that. And then you hear
yeah.
things are like, no, it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. It's
Ah,
like, guys, you living. There's the real world, and there's things that you think are happening that is just it's in your mind.
mm. There's danger everywhere, even in your daily
Yeah.
life. There's danger. So you probably face more danger,
The
than
most
what you
dangerous
do.
thing there is the bull supporters. Those are the ones that are dangerous when they come to town. They're dangerous. Any closing remarks from you?
Look, Kudas, me, I'm expecting the Bucks to do us good this weekend.
Yeah,
That's all. Just want to see the guys just get into it, get stuck in, and yeah, English. Or it can't be English breakfast, but an English plate on the menu this weekend.
yeah, yeah. For me, also, I mean, also the same. I'm expecting a good game. I don't think it'll be easy. Uh,
It won't be. It
yeah, I
won't be.
don't
It's a
think.
test match, man.
Yeah, it's a test match. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of Henry Pollock moments and
Mm.
things of the like that we'll
This
be able to
is we're
discuss. And
looking forward to this one. This is the one.
So yeah, entertainment all around, and then also just looking forward to the Curry Cup, which also starts in the coming months. So that's also
Mm,
something that I'm looking forward to.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I think that's it for us, guys. Thanks for watching.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir.
listening.
We out.